Prison Mike. Hey, you be the belle of the ball. Don't drop the soap. Don't drop the soap. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and it is me, Iamtongue, and today I just want to chat and react to the Fujifilm X Summit news. It is exciting times ahead for Fujifilm users. We got a lot of new gear coming. Some are great and some I feel are a bit underwhelming, and at this point it's a little redundant, but we're going to be talking about it all today, so let's just get started. The first thing I want to talk about are the two lenses that were announced. The 23mm LMWR and the 33mm LMWR, both F1.4 lenses, both wide, both fast, both needed a refresh. I'm so excited about both lenses. I'm glad to see the 23 is getting a refresh. If you guys have been following me on my channel for some time now, you know how much I love the 23mm f1.4. You can see that review right here. Yeah, I really enjoy using that lens, and I'm glad that this refresh is coming to this lens. You're going to get the linear motors for the faster autofocusing. That was one of the things I complained about when I was reviewing the original 23mm. The autofocusing could be a bit better and it make that loud ass grinding noise. This linear motor is going to be fast and silent, and I hear that the minimum focusing distance on the 23mm is going to be closer with this new lens. I don't have the specs with me, but if it's anything like the X100V 23mm f2 lens, this is going to be a fun lens to use. Again, we also have the weather resistance in this lens, which is great and needed. The 33mm f1.4 is another lens that I'm excited for. I think the reason why Fujifilm made it a 33mm f1.4 instead of a 35mm f1.4 was because of how good the original 35 f1.4 was. Still is a great lens. I believe they didn't want to make the Mark II of the 35mm because of the cult following and how much the original was just adored by everyone. So I just think it would be hard to make a sequel and live up to those expectations without disappointing a lot of people. Instead, they opted for this 33mm f1.4 to avoid the backlash if it sucks. Let me tell you, I don't think this new lens will have the same Fuji magic as the original 35mm f1.4. If it's anything like the 18mm f1.4 lens that I reviewed, you can watch it here if you haven't already. It's going to be a really sharp lens and it's going to have that clinical look, and I'm okay with that. I'm not mad at it. As much as I love the original 35, there's just stuff that we're lacking, and I'm excited for these updates. The 35mm is my favorite focal length that I shoot portraits with, and for the longest time there weren't many options for the 35mm focal length with good autofocusing except for the f2 version. So I'm excited for this 33mm f1.4 and I want to get one in my hands. So Fujifilm, if you're watching this, what's good, man? Just hook the kid up with a review unit, man. Otherwise, I'm switching to Sony any day now. I'll do it. You don't believe me? Both of these lenses are able to resolve up to 40 megapixels, so that just foreshadows that there's a new camera with a brand new image sensor near the horizon. So yeah, exciting times ahead with these two lenses. Let's move on to the GFX50S2. So it's basically a GFX50S sensor and the GFX100S body combined together to make this GFX-S2. My thoughts on this, it's a lot cheaper than when I bought the Fujifilm GFX50R, that's for sure, and with a lot more features. So you're getting a little better value for your money than I was when I got it. Oh my God, Fujifilm, you always do this to me. Why? But they're also using a 7-year-old sensor. I see a trend here with Fujifilm. They just like using the same old sensors and putting them in different bodies. You see this from the X-T3. They put the X-T3 sensors into the X-T4. They put that in the X100V, put that in the X-T4, they put that in the X-T10, they put that in the X-T3. I was told by a Fuji rep this is going to be a trend from now on, how they are going to reuse a lot of parts that they have an abundance of, and I believe for them is their sensors. This is going to help save on costs for us consumers. So like, you know, every year it's going to have like incremental updates maybe a faster processor, maybe it's adding an IBIS with the same sensor or something like that. They're going to keep doing this until Sony develops a brand new sensor they can put into their cameras. We are just waiting for the new technology to come out, and we're waiting for either Sony or whoever is developing these sensors to come out with better tech so that Fujifilm can buy it and then put that sensor into their cameras. I think that's how it works. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. Just, I don't know. Now with the GFX50S2, there's IBIS in it now. They have the latest X-Trans processor that they put in the X-T4, which helps with the improved autofocusing speed for this camera. But what's interesting about this camera is the price point. This may lure a lot of serious commercial photographers, hell, even like enthusiasts into the medium format system. It's only $3,999 US, and that's relatively cheap, and it is competing with some of the full frame cameras out there. Now this is going to make consumers think where to spend their money now that the GFX S2 has entered the chat. And also, because of the new announcement, get ready for the GFX owners to sell the GFX50R or the original GFX50S for dirt cheap. I saw a GFX50R on Kijiji. For anyone wondering what Kijiji is, it's basically like a Gumtree or a Craigslist. It's Canada's version of it. I saw a GFX50R body and it was only for 2,500 Canadian dollars. Now that's just crazy. And I know with Fujifilm cameras and the lenses, their gear doesn't hold up much resale value, especially in Toronto. It sucks if you're the seller, but if you're the buyer and you're in the market, you can get some really, really good deals. So just keep that in mind. I'm interested to see how this GFX50S performs entering 2022. Again, this sensor is 7 years old. It's definitely showing its age, and some people in the Fujifilm community are already complaining about that. But I'll refrain from judging because I know what this sensor is capable of and how great of an image this sensor produces. So Fujifilm, if you want to hook me up with a review unit, just let me know, man. Just slide into my DMs and we'll talk about it, you know? I'll love you long time. Oh man. And then there's the new X-T30 Mark II that no one asked for. It's going to have the new processor to make it faster and a new brighter LCD back screen. And this just goes back to me saying that they're just recycling leftover parts to make like newish cameras. And the last thing Fujifilm announced is the new generation of image sensor for the future Fuji cameras. So I think this is what's going to be in the new XH2. And this looks like a flagship sensor. So I heard this sensor is going to be stacked and it's going to be a backside illuminated sensor and maybe a 40 megapixel sensor. So this is going to be dope. From my understanding, this is going to make the sensor perform so much better in low light. This is great for video if you guys are doing a lot of like low light video stuff. The buffer is also going to have like a faster readout, can shoot more frames on continuous bursts. And I also heard there's going to be 2 variants of the XH2, maybe one for low light video and the other is a high megapixel camera. So I guess they're just following Sony's model with the Sony a7S III and I guess the Sony a7R4. I'm just getting bored of this sensor that's been around since the X-T3. I'm hoping for something new and refreshing this upcoming 2022. Those are my thoughts and I'm excited for what's in store. I hope you guys are too. But that's enough about me and my thoughts. What are your thoughts? What are you guys excited for the most? Leave your comments down below. Personally, I'm excited for the new lenses and the XH2. It almost makes me not want to switch to Sony. But anyways, I'm just curious to see what this new specs is going to be like. I'm hoping for an XH2 with like 4K 120 maybe 6K video recording. I don't know, this is just wishful thinking. I'm just hoping for like good low light, great autofocusing. God damn, you better fix that autofocusing, man, because I'm really gonna switch to Sony if you don't. Colors as always, and the IBIS needs to be the best IBIS in the world because the X-T4 IBIS sucked. It's just terrible. Like, you can't, it's embarrassing. It's good for photos, but not for videos. What are your thoughts? That's enough about me. Again, don't forget to leave your comments down below. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Now, don't forget to follow me on Instagram. That's where you're gonna see more of my work at Iamtongue. And again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. So do me a favor and just like that button. Just Just like it real good for me down here. You know you want to. That is it for me, guys. Once again, my name is Tongue. I did this too early. And I'll see you in the next video. Finger guns. I love you.